The meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Who demerits it? All planning commission members are present, plus the two alternates. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
Yes,
I don't take care.
no,
The address on,
no, the address is fine. Under the members,
oh,
it says alternate and it should be associates, so I'll get that updated.
Okay. All right,
We'll do it, that's next.
twice, oh dear.
okay, approval of minutes from the previous meeting.
Again, the alternate where it should be substituted with associate for, the two members, just because.
Okay,
In the resolution, you're welcome.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Old business. Proposed updates to the county land use master plan. We have a workshop scheduled for April 15th. Custer County Courthouse. Public newspaper notices are planned for March 12th and April 2nd. That meeting is at 1 o'clock, correct?
Okay, I was gonna ask you the time.
What time?
1 o'clock.
Thank you.
Will we be able to call in on that meeting?
What?
Will we be able to call in on that meeting if we can't attend personally? Will it be set up for Zoom or anything like that, or just call in?
I would think so, yes.
We have, can IT do that for us?
Not on the fifteenth,
No.
because that coincides with our BOCC meeting that day.
Should we reschedule then so that we can have a Zoom? No, you're not, you might not be the only one. It might be people that, yeah, of the public that would like to call in as well.
Oh, that's a good one.
So
We reschedule it for the next week.
What's
is
it?
it always on Wednesdays that
So just that Wednesday is at 1 p.m. because there's a morning regional meeting. The following Wednesday is in the morning again, so you should be fine for a 1 o'clock workshop.
That's Cheyenne's birthday.
So April, that'd be April the 22nd, is that correct?
Yes.
So that's a good day?
Yeah.
All right.
Would you like turn 16?
No, unfortunately, I'd be okay with 26.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're making it.
1 o'clock on April 22nd.
It's Cheyenne's birthday party.
It's a celebration.
So we're gonna set up where we can call in if something happens.
Okay, if that's settled, under new business. Was there any more old business? New business. A hearing for a short-term rental in zone 4. I would pronounce that name, but I can't pronounce it. Zone 4 at lot 18, Antelope Valley. Subdivision 1, 510 Drug Course Lane, West Cliff, Colorado. Applicant's presentation. Is the applicant present?
Yes.
Yes, if you could give us your presentation.
Yeah.
Proposal.
So you're gonna come up here.
Okay, yeah, so is it going to? Okay, come straight to
This is Dreamworks.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity. My wife is on Zoom, so her name is Anne-Marie. My name is Ashish. We live in Denver, Colorado. We have a beautiful cabin on 5-ton drunk horse lane. And I have our application submitted. I just wanted to say very few things. One is I reviewed the HOA guidelines and we're comfortable with them. We are compliant by those guidelines. The application that was submitted has, we just want to confirm the statements in those applications are accurate. And the only other thing I wanted to add was that, our kids are at a point where they are spending a lot of time in college preparation and we're not unfortunately able to use the place as much as we'd love to. So what we were planning to do is to, on a very limited selective basis, do a short-term rental. We still want to use it, the place is beautiful, it's got great views. And I care about the community and the neighborhood feel there, I know one of our neighbors is present here today, so I did want to assure, that we are planning to do it in very tight manner with strict rules and with utmost importance towards the peace and quiet of the neighborhood, because that's important to us also. We still trying to use it. And if anybody wants to see a copy of the house rules that we put together, which indicate how many people allowed, parking and all that, I'm happy to share. Thanks for the opportunity. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Were there any write-in letters?
Yes, I had two. So I had one letter that was just voicing a few concerns they had, and then I had one of opposition. The first one was from a full-time adjacent landowner. They said they have been great neighbors. Their only concerns are about fire, trespassing, loose dogs, and parking. And then the second letter we got was from a non-full-time adjacent landowner. In opposition, they were concerned about the increased traffic, noise, fire danger, and then the covenants of it.
I also have opposition.
Okay,
So,
I know. So now we'll open it up for public comment.
you want me at the microphone with?
Yes, and state your name and
Now, sir, would you rotate the podium 90 degrees? Or more?
Good afternoon, my name is Ansel Crossville. I go by Trey, obviously, with that kind of first name. I live directly across the street from 510 Joint Force Lane. I've been there 11 years. My wife and I chose that location for our permanent home because it's a cul-de-sac. So we all know cul-de-sacs don't get as much traffic. And that was one of the reasons that we chose to purchase that property and shortly afterwards built on it. I have a copy of the Antelope Valley Protective Covenants. This is available in the courthouse and I will submit this to whomever would like to see it. I'd like to be able to read paragraph 8 to you. I apologize if I stumble a little bit. Paragraph 8, nuisances, nothing shall be done or permitted on any tract which may be or become an annoyance or a nuisance to the neighborhood. no noxious or offensive activities or commercial businesses or trade shall be carried on upon any tract except that home occupation of professional persons shall be permitted. And again, I will let whomever, this is my copy, I will actually keep my copy, it's available in the courthouse. These protective covenants is recorded October 5th, 1971 here in the courthouse. And it's my understanding, I'm not an attorney, that these are binding covenants.
Sir, it's my understanding that unfortunately the legislature says short-term rentals are not a commercial enterprise.
Okay,
So, I know where you're coming from, but somebody higher up
Yeah.
just that.
well, my money I spent on college with a bit, business minor states that quid pro quo is the Latin phrase meaning something for something or this for that, referring to an exchange of goods, services, or favors where one transfer is contingent upon another. It significates a back and forth or reciprocal agreement commonly used in legal, political, and business contracts to describe a trade. Therefore, under these covenants, I would consider that a trade. Now, if the state legislature considers short-term rentals as not trade, obviously someone doesn't quite understand that. Referring to your application on the back, it has an alert on it, states short-term rentals may not be allowed in your subdivision. In 1971, there was no such thing as a short-term rental. There were things as businesses, but not a short-term rental. Therefore, I guess we need to interpret what the protective covenants should do. I have a letter here signed by 4 of us from the neighborhood. I'd like to read this to you and then I'd submit it as a copy. To whom it may concern, all property owners listed below who live on Drunk Horse Lane are submitting this letter to express our strong support for the enforcement and continued application of the protective covenants regarding nuisances. Paragraph 8, just what I read you, within the Antelope Valley community. An application has been submitted for the property located at 510 Drunk Horse Lane to become short-term rental, e.g. Airbnb, a business. The protective covenants were established to preserve property values, maintain neighborhood standards, and ensure a peaceful, respectful living environment for all residents. Consistent enforcement of nuisance provisions, whether related to short-term rentals, risk of forest fire due to smoking, campfires, excessive noise, unsightly conditions, improper property use, or other disruptive activities is essentially to protecting the quality of life that residents reasonably should expect. When nuisance standards are applied fairly and uniformly, they help prevent ongoing conflicts between neighbors and promote community harmony. They also safeguard long-term property values by ensuring that the neighborhood remains clean, safe, and well maintained. I respectfully encourage the appropriate governing body to uphold and enforce the nuisance-related provisions of the protective covenants in a consistent and impartial manner. Doing so enforces the integrity of the community's governing documents and support the shared interests of all property owners. We have 4 signatures. The owners at 431 Drunk Horse are the letter that you have in hand. My neighbors at 375 have a sick granddaughter and they're unable to sign this. Who would like this?
You gave it to Delana, but I would like to, tell you that per our zoning resolution, we do not enforce covenants. We do have a nuisance policy, that we do enforce, that's specific to the county. But as far as covenants go, we do not that.
Let's talk about road usage. We all drive on our roads. We know the county is doing their best to maintain them. I've developed what I call a road usage event. One event is one vehicle coming in. The applicants say up to 3 vehicles. I'm going to use 2 vehicles as an example. One event is one way in. Another event is one way out back to town. One way back into the Airbnb, one way out to the home. That's 4 events times 2 cars or 8 events. It doesn't stop there. The cleaners have to come up after every time the unit is rented, and that's 2 more events. You now have 10 events on our county roads. Do we need to have that much activity? Fire risk. The applicants have house rules, and one of those house rules is no smoking in, or no smoking and no vaping in the house, and no smoking outside the house. Smoking is an addiction. Any individual who rents this property and is a smoker is going to smoke probably outside. All it's going to take is 1 cigarette butt in a dry clump of grass, and my house is gone. People don't follow the rules, and I'll give you an example. Last time you drove Highway 50 into Pueblo, was anybody going 65? I tried it the other day. I was passed by everybody. People don't follow the rules. And I don't want the consequences to have my house burned to the ground. Last but not least, the real estate's favorite comments are property values. If, and I hope I never have to do it, if I go to sell my property, I will have to disclose that it is across the street from an Airbnb or a Vrbo. If I don't disclose that, and I do sell the property, and the owners find out, the people I sell the property to find out that it is an Airbnb, I could be sued if I don't pull that out. I don't know who in here would like to live across from an Airbnb. If you do, that's great. People don't want to buy homes that are across from Airbnbs. Last but not least, lifestyle. I don't lock my doors. If this goes through, I'll have to lock my doors. Again, I live on a cul-de-sac because I don't want a lot of traffic and a lot of people. I don't lock my cars. If this gets approved, I will have to lock my cars every day, and then the next day, use my Alzheimer's to figure out where the keys are. But the truth of the matter is, I will now have to lock my vehicles. Right now, I don't worry about my house. I know my neighbors. I've met all of them. We've had neighborhood picnics. We've all communicated quite well. I don't have to worry about my house. But if this gets approved, I will have to worry about it every day. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Are there any further public comments? Yeah,
Say a few more things or?
Yes.
yes.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I'm not going to very, I don't know, the only thing that I know is, there's a process, we follow the process, through the application process, right? And the thing that I want to emphasize is that, sometimes when you think of the word Airbnb or Virgo, the impression that you get is it's constant, people day in, day out. That is not the intention that we have. So that's the one thing that I want to emphasize it. It's going to be done on a very select limited basis because we still love the place. I wish our kids were in college and we could come out here all the time and enjoy it. And our goal is to do it on a very limited basis. And I can also assure you that if in the future any of our neighbors do have a concern or a complaint, then we will address that. We don't want to be that neighbor that is, difficult. I mean, we also know the neighbors, we met them, and, they're actually all great neighbors. And the last thing that we would want to do is create a situation where it is a problem for anybody, that's not at all our intention, and, I hope that, we can work something out and it works out for everybody, and, but the thing that I want to stress was that it's a limited basis only. We're not planning to have this be a, churning every day, somebody coming in, because we don't want to use the tree. That's all. Thank you.
Yes.
Hi there, my name is Catalina Sky, and I'm actually gonna also have an application, but since I found out that the approval process is happening at the end of the presentation, and I just wanted to say something in general. I understand people's concerns. I've lived in the valley for 10 years. I've actually managed several, my own Airbnbs in Denver. And the first 3 years that we lived in this valley, we had Airbnb. And I just wanted to express the positive side of having and also support to this gentleman. I understand the situation because I wasn't able to legally move up to the valley as well. Keeping my house going here was sometimes having Airbnb really helped me to then end up becoming part of the community here. And I can tell you the 3 years that we did Airbnb here, and the 7 years I did Airbnb to help me at the time I was a single mom, really helped me personally and helped the community. And we never had one problem. Ever. In fact, we've made friends with people, long-term friends. Some people out of it decided to move to the valley. And we never had a safety issue, we never had a fire issue. Now we're wildland firefighters. My husband and I own a wildland fire company. So I just wanted to say that the benefit for the businesses in the town and the valley, and not just the restaurants, but the cleaners, the plumbers, the maintainers. If, as long as people follow the rules, I feel like people should be given a chance. So anyway, now I don't have to say it when I come up and present, but thank you for your time.
Thank you. Was there any further public comments? Okay, comments from the site tour?
Yeah, I think Mary took notes, most of the
I
notes.
did.
I think all the front row on the side.
I believe so. I went, Skip, Elena, Kit, Daryl. This pretty good showing for a site tour, for site tours. What we noticed, specifically with the one on Drunk Horse Lane was there is a fire pit out front. There is a pile of wood that's warped that could potentially be a hazard. There was concern that none of us were able to see any boundary markings. And there was obviously some mitigation work being done. There's a lot of debris around. We're wondering if that is scheduled to be finished before it goes on the market or not. So those are the things that we noticed. Do you guys see anything else? Yeah.
Well, I have another question. Excuse me. In your application, sir, you say no adults only, or say adults only. You also say the stairs and the loft of those symbols of children. Well, I didn't know.
We didn't go inside, obviously.
Yeah, it was not right.
Yeah.
Can I respond to that? So to your question, I think, we would do whatever, I mean, I don't have an exact date on which, I want to get through this process first. If the process, if the application is approved, then we would do all the mitigation that's required. If you need to, remove the fire pit, we can, it's because the idea of putting the rule there is to enforce the rule, not to,
Yeah.
right? So, that's fine. So I mean, I think my point is I'm open to doing what's required before it goes to the market. It's not in the market, obviously, right now. On your question, sir, on the inside, so we wanted to limit this, so that, again, with the eye towards the neighbors and their, peace and quiet. We didn't want to open it up to, for lack of a better word, having college parties and kids like that. So that's why we're limited to families. And the upstairs, there's a railing, if there was a toddler or like an infant, it would not be safe for them. So we would keep that off limit. That's why we want to have only 4 people, because there are 2 bedrooms downstairs. So that was the reason for putting them in there. But the idea was, and if I'm not mistaken, before we bought this property 7 years ago, this was actually an Airbnb on a full-time basis. So we wanted to just limit it to people who would keep the peace, and that was the intended. Thank you.
I'd like to respond to that last statement. Ash is absolutely right. The neighbor that owned the property before he got it illegally advertised it as an Airbnb verbo. And I had a discussion with him saying, first off, I don't think Airbnbs are approved in the county. I wasn't sure about that. But imagine my surprise when I get home one afternoon and there's 5 vehicles, 3 tents, and 25 people in the front yard of that property. I did not call the sheriff. I was a good neighbor. I called the owner of the property. And my statement to him was, this is never going to happen again. They put the property on the market the next week. So I've been through this already.
Okay, anything else from the site visit?
My biggest concern was probably the fire pit and the surrounding area, is just trees everywhere. Well, as stated, one little cigarette on the ground, that whole place will go up, that entire subdivision would go up in flames. And so the fire pit would have to totally be disassembled. And also the wood pile that's on the side of the house, there's also trip hazards on the side of the house that, I don't know if they got mentioned. Okay, just a wood pile of wood. And so all those were very, very, concerning.
Other comments from the planning commission? Skip.
Well, what they're all saying. There's two wood piles. One is lumber. Front of the lumber, and it's. And in front of the lumber, so I think the firewood for the house. First one. If I rented it, it's very nice. I said, if I was there, I would see that wood pile. The fire pit is right in front of the front door. I think that's the front door, the back door, whatever it is, the door. I would think, I don't care what you say in here, you got a half cord of wood sitting there. And you got a piece of plywood to shelter it. So it looks like it's, I'm assuming you have a fireplace inside, and that's what the wood is for. But if I was renting the house, I could be sure, I don't care about what it says here. But if I felt like I want to have
the fire, it was there, the firewood is there. And it looks like it's, you're welcoming people to do it, because that's a hell of a big fire pit. You got the stools around.
So the easy solution to that, if I could respond, is, you just remove the fire pit. It's not, I hired a laborer and, if that is a concern. And look, I'm with you all. I love the place. I don't want it to burn up. I don't even ask that. We actually, my both our kids are getting close to college, hopefully they'll be off the payroll soon, and then we can start using the place ourselves more and more. I definitely think that there are two files. One is for the bank, the quarter part, which is meant for, we only use electricity, but we can't be used, it's so beautiful, but you put the fire inside the wood floors, and makes it very warm. The idea of the thing. So that's the purpose of it. If the fire is a distraction, I can hire a laborer, we can just take it out. And then there's some, old decking, which I've been meaning to get removed. I have a contractor I know who can remove dead trees and things like that. So we can do mitigation before, anything of that sort happens. And the place has been great to us, so we want to protect it too.
Bill, we did,
If this is approved, I think one of the conditions should be to completely remove the fire pit.
and he's gonna have some
It'll have to be removed.
demarcations for the property lines.
And the other wood pile would need to be removed as well. The lumber pile, excuse me,
Is that the deck or
the decking.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Of course, yeah. Can I ask a question on the property lines that came up?
Yes.
Before, because when we bought the property, we got the map from the county and then we physically inspected the different, so there are pins that do mark. I guess we could do something beyond that to mark it actually.
What we recommend is marking the boundary so that if somebody's out walking, that they can see it delineated easily. It can look nice. I mean, it could be a wood sign, it could be rocks, it could be anything. And then you have to put that information in your house rules that says, this is how the property is marked. And that's actually in the resolution, describes that. So that would have to be done before it's listed as well.
Anything further from the plan commission?
I'd like to say that I'm not real comfortable with it being a cul-de-sac, because there's only one exit. I don't really like that.
Plus the terrain,
Maybe the meeting. Yeah, it's a county maintained road.
That was bad, in and out, but that is not bad.
It's a county.
so you could get back to the county road off the end of the cul-de-sac,
Yeah, turn around.
that is what I mean. And you jump the curb and go back to the county road.
Yeah.
But it is, but of course, but it is a county. It's county maintained,
Yes, yes,
so it's in the county system.
right. But it's too steep for there's barriers or something.
There's trees everywhere.
There's trees everywhere.
It's a narrow road going in my opinion. Well, you're going out the same road.
How many STRs in this area? Huh? How many STRs in this particular area? Yep, there's none within the mile and a half.
I actually marked.
It's one,
1.5.
Okay. Action from the planning commission.
I would move that we recommend approval for the. I'm gonna try it. Gustava. STR application with the following conditions. That the fire pit is totally removed. The warped wood pile is totally removed. The boundary is marked and listed in the house rules. And that any mitigation around the home is cleaned up before it's listed. Yeah, there's a lot of trip hazards around the property that should be cleaned up.
Do I hear a second?
Also, you
Seconded by Skip. Okay, we've got a motion and a second. We'll proceed to vote. Daryl,
Nay.
Bill,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Justin. Nay. Skip.
A,
Hmm,
A,
A,
Hey, it's an A.
Hey.
Aye, okay.
Mike. Okay. Huh?
Nay.
Nay. Okay, I will vote aye. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 nays, 3 ayes. Motion fails. Bill.
And my reason for voting against this is, I think mainly the access problem with one way in, one way out.
Justin.
That's why everything.
That was one. Huh? That was one. Daryl.
Fire pit access, fire pits and all the wood around it, of course, that can be removed. But that's part of the reason right now. Access in, access out, egress, ingress. The fire excavation would be a madhouse of them getting out of there. Neighbors, you got 4 neighbors against this, maybe 5. And then it's just not STR friendly. It's just not. There are a lot of properties that are STR friendly. This is not one, in my opinion.
Mary.
I voted aye because he followed all of the procedures and is willing to comply with all of the conditions. I don't believe you can deny something for what might happen.
Skip.
I agree with Mary's reason. I agree with Mary's reason, and same reason. I think that's right. If you apply these, applies with the conditions, it allows the planning office to verify it, that it was done, it'll be all right.
Okay, I voted aye. I think if he complied with all the conditions. And even, I mean, I agree that there's a problem with the access. Because it's a one-way, there's only one road in and one road out.
Does that mean that we no longer approve any SPR in cul-de-sac?
Case by case.
Case by case, you have to know, it's, there's nothing to do with that. That was a long way to get to that property down Gulf Force. And the name doesn't help when you're out there coming from the city.
Okay,
If I may, he told us,
That's
the
all.
cul-de-sac is 6 tenths of a mile. And that's it.
so that's all the reasons. So basically the motion failed.
What? Yes,
Cheyenne?
well, what about, Mike?
Hmm?
What about Mike? Mike said it was the access problem. Oh, okay, never mind, I just.
Kisley cul-de-sac, especially in that Pinion Country region.
Okay.
You know, I mean, it's gonna be a case by case thing, but I'm absolutely with Mary that doing things on a what if, we've never approved anything. None of our business on what ifs.
Okay. So motion failed. So, question for parliamentarian, whoever that is. Do we need to make a second motion?
Oh,
No,
wait a minute. I,
I don't believe so, no.
what?
I would not believe so, no.
I don't think so either.
Not unless somebody's changed their mind.
Yeah, I mean. Well, my question was, because the motion stated that was for approval.
Oh,
So all failed.
yeah, I guess you do.
So you have to make a motion.
Yes.
So I'll make a motion that we recommend the commissioners not approve this STR. Then everybody votes just reverse. Right.
Need a second.
And I'll second it.
Cash voting here.
Yeah.
Okay, Bill,
I vote to approve this motion.
Darrell, Mary,
Nay.
Justin.
Aye.
Kip. Mike.
Aye.
I will maintain my vote nay. So it's the same vote.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're recommending to commissioners that they not approve this application. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item is the Desmond hearing for short-term rental in zone 3. That's lot 48, Eagle Springs Ranch, volume 2. 101 Cold Springs Road, West Cliff, Colorado. Is the applicant present?
Can you explain where it is?
Yeah, applicant is not present.
It doesn't know.
The applicant is not present. Well, then we're not doing that.
So Cheyenne will read the applicant's statement.
Hey, I sent an application.
You don't want to read it?
Do you want us to read it or do you want to pass it up?
No, I.
Do we want to proceed as on here?
Huh?
Do we want to proceed as
We never have.
What's that?
We never have. I've never.
Because I thought the applicant had to be here to present their application.
Yes, they do.
Oh, and they're also the agent,
So
so.
all those stuff, man.
That's also one of these. Yeah.
Okay,
There's,
do I hear a motion to table?
I don't think so, because there's no hearing.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that hasn't started.
Yeah. Okay. So. The
May I
next,
ask a question regarding?
yes,
Based upon the description of what they're doing, I am assuming they're applying for a short-term rental because most of the rentals are likely to be less than 30 days. If under the conditions they stated, they rent for over 30 days, it sounds like an apartment.
It's a regular rent. Long-term rent.
long-term rental,
So 30 days becomes 39 days.
yes.
No, that's weird.
It is what it is.
Okay,
True.
our next item is Nicholas Sky hearing for short-term rental in zone 2. At a tract in the northwest quarter, the southwest quarter, etc. At 264 County Road 179 West Bay. Is that applicant present? Could you come up and give your statement, please?
Eileen? We have also a really cool place. We're right up against the national forest up there. In fact, I think Kit surveyed it for us once. When we bought it.
Maybe sorry.
Mhm. Yeah, we're wildland firefighters. We're out on fires a lot. Plus I work partially out of the country on a project. And when we had Airbnb before, we really enjoyed it. We made really good friends. They helped us with our mortgage. And originally, we actually bought the property because we wanted to share it with people, because there's people that can't afford to live in the mountains, and that may seem strange to some people, but that's how we are. We want to share our place. I don't know what else to present, but
How long have you owned the property?
almost 10 years.
Wait a minute.
And we have, when Jackie was commissioned, oh, this is better, I had more word. When Jackie was commissioner, you know, she overlooked us, and I was actually part of all the original SCR meetings and gave my input. You know, I've been a business person, and anyway, that was longer than we used to ask, but yeah, 10 years. And 3 of those were short-term rental, part-time.
I'm looking at the application and it says that you are the agent. Is that right? Am I right place?
Actually, I have 2 agents to help me when I'm not there. Carlin is one.
So the reason that Katarina is listed as the agent in this case is because the titling is in Radon Claus's name only. Even though she is his wife, so he is the agent, he is the property owner for the purpose of the application. Because
Okay.
of the legal deeding on the application.
Do we need anything?
No, I mean, she's actually authorized on the back of
Okay,
the application.
okay.
Maybe she wants to go back on
And he's the one that signed the application as well, so.
I'll turn
it. He knows what I.
We let you.
So who are the managers now? The agents? Carla?
Myself, Carmen Cardenas, and Katarina Scott.
And we have one backup who also takes care of our animals when we're not there. So there's actually 3 of us.
What's her name? Her name?
I have to, Anne,
And Seiko. and I can give Delaney her phone number. And also include, we have an emergency contact information sheet in the application. I can add her to that and update the application has been zoning if we need that to happen.
And most of the time, I'm actually the agent, because even when I'm out on fire out of the country, I still answer, and then if I need help, then I think we've got a call like the electric went out, because whatever, the electric goes out sometimes. But if I need any help, then I engage, Carmen or Ann.
So are Carla and Mary Ann on the emergency contact list?
Yes,
Carla is,
Oh.
great.
Katarina was first, Rita was second, Carmen was third.
So as long as there's somebody in the county that they can reach, that's
yes,
the important thing.
yes, and then that's pretty much Carlin and Ann all the time.
Okay, anything else in your presentation?
Any suggestions?
We'll get there.
Okay, no, I think that's all. You know, we help maintain our road as a private road. We've had no problems, we actually store some of our fire engines on the property. So it's the cleanest property when we drive down 69. Because my husband is Swiss and he's a really good reviewer. I can say something about the fire pit, so actually, CRW?
Seavercy, so
Seavercy.
there is a fire pit that's for personal use on the property, which we did discuss. My dad, Seavercy Welding, is actually building a lid that will lock down over that fire pit so that it cannot be accessible by any benefit the owners. But he was out of town all week in July last week, and we're playing catch up a little bit at the welding shop. So that will happen before renters are to access to the property. And if you know my dad, nobody will be able to access that pit. It will be his own interest, so.
I think that's all for now, and then I guess I'll answer questions. Sound good?
Okay, were there any write-in letters?
There were.
Public comment?
This is our new neighbor county.
Well, I am a new neighbor. We just moved in a couple months ago. And we just met Katarina a couple days ago. I don't have any big concerns about it, as far as the Airbnb part. Most of the concerns I have, she seems to be addressing as far as the fire pit itself. You do have a lot of wood piles here and there around the property, and I just think that is a bit of a draw for people who are staying in a remote area, that they would like to go out and have a, nice evening fire in the fire pit. So I guess she's taking care of that, so I guess I'm not concerned about that. I was curious, Katarina, this just came up in my mind.
Yeah.
Is there a length of rental that's, I don't know about Airbnbs, is there like people can only stay a certain number of days, or? Does anybody know? Or is this, if somebody wants to stay 3 months, are they allowed to do that? You're saying no, I don't know.
That's up to you guys.
As far as I know, the rules and regulations, we're allowed to rent
For a length of time,
long term if we want to. We don't really want to do that,
okay.
but no.
Yeah, I didn't know what STR, short-term rental.
I don't rent there longer through the SDR for people that want to. We don't want to because we also want to live there. So I think the longest we've ever had was 10 days.
Oh,
In the 3 years that we, did our SDR.
okay. The only other concern I guess I have is, I just signed an agreement with a gentleman today who's gonna be grazing cattle on our property that also, crosses the road, 9 acres of it onto basically we share, a landline there. So I'm not worried about her dogs because they're livestock dogs, so I'm not worried about them chasing cattle. I am a little worried about somebody who might bring a dog to the rental that they, would be aggressive towards the cattle that are grazing there. And hopefully, if that's a concern, hopefully it'll get addressed right away. The only other thing, I guess, as a concern, not because I'm against the short-term rental, but we do live, as she mentioned, right next to the national forest and I know you're in the fire mitigation business, so I'm glad to hear that, but there are a lot of trees. And so it is a concern, I guess, just in terms of fire in general. But I think we're gonna be lovely neighbors with one another, and I'm happy to see them pursue this if you approve it. Those were just a couple concerns that we had. Thank you.
May I just address,
Yes, go ahead.
so in terms of your fire concern, Captain? That's actually most dangerous in our valley, except that we have ground fires coming from the top, is the grass fire coming from the valley. So, but we have, a lot of litigation on the top, and when you guys come over, well, Ray will show you because he's so crowded. So, but yes, I will respect that. Yeah, and our guests are not allowed to have their pets unattended. And if there is any issue, we actually have the dog run. So, but we have about maybe 10% of people that bring their pets. And I actually approved prior because I find out what kind of pets there are and they're by. And in general, can you hear me? In general, we're pretty strict. If anybody doesn't follow our guidelines and rules, they're out. And we have cameras and, we don't want to jeopardize our property whatsoever. So.
I've got very good, house rules regarding pets. I don't know if you're able to read that.
Yeah, I did read it.
They're very well done.
So thank you.
Okay, any further public comment? Comments from the site visit?
I know over some things that when Mary was quiet, he wrote down everything. And we talked, but the fire pit I was concerned about, because there's like 10 logs out there that you sell. And it's not, even if, and Carl, he does a good job. He'll cover that pit up, but you still got logs out there, it's gonna be around. If I'm a smoker, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna sit on that little pit and I'm gonna throw my cigarettes on the steel thing that Carl did. That just what, just been dealing with those kind of people, that's just what happens. Work the canoe, me was an issue. Might need to be locked down.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Because somebody's gonna get in it, they're gonna have a little 2-year-old kid in it, and they're gonna be going into a little pond and. No telling right now. Worry about chickens, they might be having barbecues and chickens, after they run off with them.
Whoa.
But the electrical line, the electrical line running through the trees, or extension cord.
Yeah, that's, in the winter, we use that for, our chicken feeder heater.
Right.
Put
That one.
water, not to melt.
That would not need to be there.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a problem, we can take it off.
The other concern I had, there's a trailer, an RV camper that sometimes lived in. I don't know if that gets some issues.
Never.
Okay.
It's plugged in right now to be winterized, but it's used when they take trips. It's never lived in on the property.
Never lived, okay, I thought that's what you would say. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and it's for going on fire. My husband doesn't want to sleep underground anymore.
Okay, okay. There.
Are we talking about the site visit now?
Yeah, that's what I was talking
I guess we're on the site visit now.
Yeah,
The other thing is there are accessory buildings. There's, two accessory buildings that, we need to never be included in the rental.
Yes, yes, that's more our off storage and office space sometimes for when Carl comes up.
Yeah, we understand that there is a bed in one of them.
Yeah, we took that down.
Oh,
Yeah.
good, thank you.
It's stored and I sent pictures of that to Tony.
Thank you so much. I don't have anything else about the site visit.
okay,
I'm one.
yes.
Can I help you dogs?
I love my dogs.
Yeah. They're the best dogs.
I'll make a motion that we, oh, go ahead, Skip, I'm sorry.
I was gonna follow James. Your rooster is not like him.
He's a nice rooster.
He's gonna vote against you because of that. Your rooster, it's your rooster.
I can say I'm coffee or something, or what you say?
Okay, is there any
That's a very nice.
planning?
His
Any,
name is Romeo.
I'll make a motion that we accept this STR and for be accepted by the. I don't know how to do the motion anymore. That we as the planning commission accept this STR.
Recommend to
Recommend to
the
the commission that
commissioners.
accept that we approve this STR.
do I hear a second?
I will second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this STR.
With the following condition.
Yeah. Yeah, we got some. Go ahead.
Well, the fire pit covered up every day,
Locked down, actually.
locked down,
Yes.
so cannot be used.
Secure.
That's
Secured. That the electrical line be removed from the tree.
yeah, no extension for taking in trees.
That the canoe be locked down with a lock chain. What did I miss there?
And that the, and accessory buildings are never included in the rental.
And lock. And lock.
Yeah, well, that. If they want their stuff stolen, that's on them, they just can't rent them out.
Four conditions.
For conditions.
Okay.
You want me to repeat that or? I don't think I can, Mary, probably get you.
No,
You
Mary's,
need it, again. Cheyenne, Lynn,
No.
I got it. Okay, fire pit, extension cords, canoe and accessory buildings. Yeah.
okay. That's all right with everybody, with conditions are acceptable to everybody.
I would just say that accessory buildings can't be used by the rentees.
That's fine.
Bill, would you like that put in the house rules?
Yeah.
Just put in the rules.
Sure.
And for the accessory buildings, yeah, we can do that, that's no problem.
Yeah, I don't want.
If they're locked.
Yeah, but people can,
So that's my motion, so you have to second to that.
I second it with your conditions added.
It's a-
Okay, any further discussion by the planning commission?
One comment.
Huh?
One of, our conditions seem to be repeating. Something we want to do all the time.
That, we do that sometimes, to reiterate.
Reinforce.
Okay, there you go, that's the word, and yes, we do that.
Seem to be done.
It does. You're right, but we do it.
But there's just properties are different in any situation, that's why we do it.
Okay. Proceeding to vote. Mike.
Right.
Skip,
Aye.
Justin.
Aye.
Mary.
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
Daryl.
I,
And I will vote aye, so the vote's unanimous. Reasons, Skip.
I just come up with conditions, that was the way that we took care of, any questions we had. Yeah, I think it's a nice area. I like the pets, but yeah. So
You can come out and pet him anytime.
I do worry about that fire pit. I think we took care of all the conditions.
Mike.
Everything meets what it needs to for the STR.
Justin.
Yeah, everything, all the conditions are met. Dude, it seems like a pretty decent place for
Bill.
According to the people that were at the site tour, it's a good location for an STR.
Mary.
I agree, it's a good place for an STR. Access is easy and it's fairly isolated.
Daryl.
it's away from neighbors, except for maybe one, so it has an easy access in and out. And so, there's a lot of trees, but with the fire pit taken out of the equation, I think it's a good STR.
Okay, if all the conditions are lived up to, I think it's probably a good proposal. Okay, so we recommended the commissioners that this STR be approved.
I have a question on that, do the owners need to be at that commissioner meeting?
Yes, no.
They don't.
Well, I mean, they can be, they don't have to be there in person, they can get on Zoom. Right.
Okay.
They have to attend.
Yeah, they have to attend somehow. Is there a particular date for that? I'll have to let you know when I can get it on the agenda. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next item is the Sanford Grafton short-term rental in zone 4. At 67,450 Highway 69 Westcliff.
Thank you for having us and thank you for visiting our property. I would like to also say our interaction with zoning has been wonderful.
Yes.
The response time, the follow-up, the answers. I know sometimes we had quite a few questions. Has been exceptional. So I'm not saying I could say that before, but I can say that now. They are wonderful. So thank you both for attending to whatever we ask and how often we do that. At the site visit and some of the things that came up and after talking about it together, I was a 5-star hostess for 45 years in California. And it requires a lot of work, a lot of detail, a lot of screening of the people that want to come to your Airbnb. And so I would just let you know that that's something that I received 5 stars and nothing less for in 5 years. The issues that were brought up around the property on visit, for example, there was a propane heater, the tall one. It's on Facebook Marketplace. And if it doesn't get taken or purchased, we'll give it back. The signage for the property, one side does have a fence, which is pretty clear. The other side does not have anything. So what I have done is I've gone and ordered, even without approval, it needs to be there anyway, is a hand carved sign that shows that you should not pass where this sign says you should not go. The other thing is if we are out of town, and we're very particular about, again, who would be renting or Airbnb. So when we're not there, we don't expect to not have somebody on call. I mean, we expect to have somebody that we could call locally. So I have called one particular company locally that manages Airbnbs to get them to respond if they would be interested in managing or doing our property. And they have not called back yet, so I would stay on that. But that's what they do. That's one of their services. In the event we get a property manager who does accept, our house rules need to be modified to include their name and phone number. It's not in there right now. Also, the signage that says don't go past this point needs to be included in the rules. That is not in there now. In our rules, we have no pets allowed and we have no smoking. We don't want pets and we don't want smoking. So outside of that, we're full-time residents. We love the area and we think we have a wonderful property to share with visitors that will bring them back to the valley. And one more thing on the outside propane, there are little tables that have like tanks underneath. We will remove all the hoses to them and either put lids on them or something, but they won't have the hose so they can hook it up to a tank. There won't be a way for them to use it. And I think that's it. At least from, did I cover too much and we don't have anything to say? Okay.
I'm Bob and this is Lynn.
There you go.
And we're both excited to be able to bring this project to the valley and we've worked very hard for 6 years now, I guess.
Yep.
And it's taken that long to develop what we developed out there. When I see some familiar faces here from the site walkthrough and we appreciated all of the comments you had when you came out and try to incorporate them here. And so I think if there's any questions, is this the time for us to take questions or?
I'd like to have, if there's any public comment, were there any letters?
There was one. It was in favor from an adjacent landowner who is also full-time. They just said that they're totally in favor and wish them well.
We'd love to know who that is.
Yeah, no.
It was your neighbor Wayne. Ewing was.
Oh, they're new. They just moved in.
Okay.
They just bought the property across the street.
Okay, is there any public comment? If none, site visit.
They mentioned most of it, decommissioning the fire pits, removing the heater, marking the boundary. Local management, I didn't catch that they didn't have that'll have to be done. But I did, site visit, it is a gorgeous place. You would want to be there as for an STR, it's easy access in and out. You can't find a better place. It is set up beautifully. It is, it's perfect for an STR.
Thank you.
That's my 5-star hostess. right there.
Yeah.
Well, she has done a great job outfitting the inside and the outside of the home.
It's a lot of work, it's a lot of detail, but the most important thing to me in an Airbnb or an STR is that when you get a request, and I had many requests and approved many of them, but I learned the hard way on the first or second one by not going with my gut. And saying, I don't think that they would be a good fit. And I didn't do that. So I learned that the best thing that you can do in an STR is really good screening. They have to say why they want to come. They have to show the other, Airbnbs that they've stayed at that make comments about how they treated their property. And so to me, that's the most important thing. It shows like who they are and what they're about and how they take care of their properties. And so after that one experience I had, I focused more on that and I never had another problem. 70, 80, most wonderful thing, one of the greatest things I've ever done in BP. And most people are truly wonderful.
Okay, planning commission,
Did that make-
is there any discussion from the planning commission?
I just have one thing. I didn't see in the house rules specifically, no outdoor flames are allowed, and that is in the resolution now.
Okay,
No outdoor flames are allowed.
okay, so we'll put that in.
Thank you.
Which makes it really hard to light a cigarette.
Well, that's in there too, but somebody can light a sparkler.
I know, but you're not gonna, you're not allowed smoking, so you've eliminated every possibility of filming. We appreciate that.
And if they do, they're going against everything that you've asked them not to do.
They have to go out in their car and smoke.
Well, that's,
They can do that.
they can do that.
Yes.
I was gonna make a suggestion on your rules, that they may become larger.
Are they tiny?
I can't read these things.
Okay,
Yeah, they're like,
they're real small.
yeah, they're like this much of a page. Yeah, they're real small, and we can't, so they would need to be.
There's, okay,
Or somebody that's 65 years old that can't read or they're without glasses, to be able to read it without glasses. I mean,
What about the ones that can't hear?
yeah.
I'm having a little trouble with that myself.
Yeah. Okay, we'll put that, we'll make them bigger, outdoor flames in there also.
That's important safety information. The rules are, I gave earlier.
Yeah.
What a lot of people do is laminate something like that and
Laminated, yes,
put it on the fridge or whatever.
okay,
All right,
okay.
that was great.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, further planning commission discussion.
What I like about these individuals is they listen. We made suggestions and they responded very quickly. They've already removed the hoses. There was no issues with speaking with them. They were they understood. I think he was an ex-fireman or ex-fire chief. I mean, they knew exactly what we're talking about, suggestions, and they even made their own while we were making ours. So
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept this STR and for the commissioners to approve. Recommend, we recommend the commissioners that we approve this STR.
Do I hear a second? Seconded by Skip. Okay, we'll proceed to vote. Bill,
I,
Daryl, Mary.
Aye.
Justin.
Nay.
Skip.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
And I will vote aye. Reasons. Justin.
I know that area, I know that highway, and I know how dangerous that corner could be. I know how people come out of that road, and I wouldn't recommend putting an STR.
road access,
Road access.
yeah,
Bill.
I didn't know anything about the road access. But we've heard glowing reports from people that did the site tour. But Justin lives there. He knows what goes on the highway. And that concerns me. So. I don't know.
Okay, Daryl,
Like I said, they did everything we asked them to do. I understand about the access, that's right before you get to that big curve there. But they do have kind of a turnoff where you can get off the road to get into the property. It just doesn't turn into the gate, if you remember that. So you can get off the main highway and then turn into their gate area, which would, I think, counteract that. The only issue would be somebody coming left going into town out of there, that somebody coming around that corner, there's the issue you're talking about. Yeah. I don't know how you get away from that.
okay, Mary,
I thought it was set up very well for an STR as far as location and, the site itself.
Skip,
Yes, it's very nice, nice setup. In fact, I think that, we should probably hold our meetings there more often.
Mike,
Better thing I need to with this deal.
and I would say that it seems that they've, any conditions we might have put, or anything we've asked of them, they've already done. So with the exception of possibly the access, it's a good position.
Can I add anything, since we've already approved all this?
No.
I can't add anything, can I?
Add anything as
Not
far as.
add, but make a recommendation, if there's something I can say,
Yeah,
it might be wise based on what Justin, because he did bring out a good issue there, concern. Maybe a sign that's visible and that maybe says turning left, be cautious of oncoming traffic, something. So people will be aware as soon as gonna come around that corner going 60 miles an hour. Would that be helpful, Justin?
No. Oh, well, I mean, anybody's gonna come out of that driveway, you're gonna see, that corner there, it's right there.
Yeah,
So,
just make them aware.
I mean,
Would that be helpful?
it probably would help if they were aware, I guess.
You see what I'm saying?
I mean, anybody.
I have difficulty, are you asking us to put a sign here or the county to put a sign?
It would be a state, that would have, you would have to go through state, so you couldn't even do that.
Oh, And then, we've already voted in, it's just something that you might wanna be aware of.
Daryl, we needed to add some conditions to your
Well,
motion.
we did, that need to have some conditions.
So I would like, can we go back and amend the motion?
That's right, I did not put my conditions in there. I'm making a mistake.
yeah, just move to make an amendment to the motion.
To add a condition.
Yeah, I moved to make an amendment to the motion.
Yeah, the boundary markings created and put into the, I'll wait for the return to that.
We didn't need to say that. She weren't here for this. Cause we do have.
Oh, okay, no, that's fine, I thought you would need to write down the conditions. Yes, the boundary markings put in and then, noted on the house rules. A local management added to the, application and house rules. And no outdoor flames in the house rules.
Remove all the holes, but she said she
She's
did.
already done that, and the heater, the outdoor heater needs to be removed.
I apologize, Commission.
Decommission.
No, they have that, the heater actually needs to be removed.
Yeah, that was that portable one.
Yeah, the one that's tall.
Wonder if they want.
We talked about it already out there.
Yes, it just needs to be formally put into conditions, that's all. I understand that they're gonna do it. It just needs to be formally done, that's all.
Do I have a second to this amendment?
I'll second it.
Well, you first did, I'll second it.
Yeah,
Good Lord. I know I was still talking.
You need supervision.
okay. I think that I'll do is, yes,
I just wanted to check on something with respect to the local person. They have to be a responsible agent, not a manager.
I'm sorry, you can wording.
Local property.
Okay, I'm just gonna call for a simple A or nay vote. All in favor of the amendment to the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'm just voting on the amendment.
Right, that's correct.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. What's been approved by the planning commission. And contact the zoning office for an appointment with the commission. Okay. Next item is planning and zoning staff and compliance reports.
Okay, so for planning and zoning's February report, we held 14 special meetings. We had 9 property closeouts, we had 2 septic inspections, 4 compliance reviews, and 1 septic test. And we just talked about you guys' what's on your agenda. And then the permit issuance data is compared against the same as last year. So last year, for our septic permits, we were the same, we had 7 and 7. And for dwelling permits, we had 5 in February last year and 5 this year. And then for our accessory permits, we had 12 last year and 11 this year, so we're down 1. During February, an issue was identified with a septic installation. A septic contractor installed the system with the wrong size piping, so I had to fail the whole entire system.
Oh.
So I'll be waiting for them to redo the whole system, and then I'll go back out and reinspect that system.
Are they licensed?
Yes.
And they put the wrong system or the wrong pipe?
Have they covered it?
No,
No.
no, they have to call for an inspection, and then we go out and inspect it. And they put schedule 35 piping instead of schedule 40 for the whole system.
Schedule 35.
There's no one section there either.
It's green pipe.
Oh.
Oh.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's really. Yeah,
What is that covered in the test that they take if they even get licensed?
it is, the problem is that, so a lot of people, a lot of these contractors that we're getting now are state certified. And so they have all these licenses for all these other counties. And then other counties, the state used to allow schedule 35, and this year they changed it in June of 2026, the new outs regulations, where only schedule 40 is allowed across the whole unit of the state of Colorado. And so if they haven't seen that updated outs, then the system looked great, but it was just the wrong size. So.
Actually, call it.
For our compliance efforts, the department is actively working on several compliance issues. We are working with a few properties that need to pull required permits. They've put structures on there and didn't permit them. We are addressing a situation with the homeowner. And he is disputing that he is out of compliance, even though he is. So I have sent all of those documents to the county attorney because he doesn't want to work with us. So I sent everything to the attorney to have him do it.
May I ask how recently those houses were built, or were they built years ago?
They, within the year of 2025, they will go. A visit to a property will be conducted this week to gather more information. That was the one I just told you about. We Cheyenne and I went back out to that site to get more information, take more pictures. That way I had all of my information before I sent it to the attorney. And there was beds and the propane fireplace inside the accessory building and all that, so. With our geo permit system that we have going, it's going great. The scanners are getting, a lot of our files are almost scanned. I think we have 5 left in the office. We have until the end of the year, till our grant runs out, to get all of those documents scanned. They've also, scanned all of our historical documents. So all the stuff that was starting to fade and all of our books and everything, those have all been scanned into our historical documents.
Question. Have you viewed any of the scans after they completed them?
Yes, a lot.
Are they as good as the originals?
Yes, they are.
Good.
And then the public can access them too, so, not the historical documents, but anything that is in a parcel file, is scanned unless it's compliance issues, or any kind of legal documents, those are not accessible to the public. Those go into a private file that is only accessible to our office and the assessor's office. Unless an individual comes in and requests those documents through a court request, then they're not publicly available on a website. But other than that, they can go in there and view all the permits that have been pulled for that property. Have they been closed out? Did they get their inspections and all that? So we're seeing less and less of realtors calling, because they can access that online. So, we're also rocking and rolling with our building permits. All of that is available online, so people can go on, they can pull their dwelling permits, their accessory permits. They can pull all their variance permits online. And then we just review them and approve them. And then they pay online as well. So that has helped with the traffic in the office.
Yeah.
Other than that, that is, and then Cheyenne has been working with our, we found there's been a lot of files that need to be cleaned up in our office, as far as mostly septic files that, were improperly filed, they weren't completed, they had to sign off on. I got with our county attorney and he has created a document for us that, if I can prove that that system was inspected, whether it was pictures in the file and nothing was just signed off on, or we had a contractor signature and not the director's signature. If I can prove that it was inspected, then I can use that document that the county attorney, created for me. And then I sign off on it, that I have evidence, I didn't inspect it, but I have evidence that it was done. And then if it's a contractor signature that's missing, then Cheyenne has a whole, basket full, and then as they come in, she's having them sign them, so we've been working diligently trying to get all that done. It's really nice that we have the scanners right now, because as they're scanning, they're checking out the documents to make sure that all of our I's are dotted and T's are crossed, and if they're not, then they hand them to Cheyenne, and then her and I work on getting them done, so then we have no issues in the office when someone comes in and says, this wasn't correctly done, so we're working on that right now. That's it, for our office.
I'd like to. I brought this up months ago. Of a possible contractor registration, and the reason I'm saying that. Is there's no building codes in this county, probably never will be. These people are coming out of the woodworks to come here, because there's no building codes. I can put a 2x4 wall. Nobody's gonna say a word to me. And I'm gonna build a cheap house for somebody who's not gonna know that that's not how it's built. And I've seen it being done. And I'm just concerned that we've got contractors here that just call themselves contractors. I go in and bid $290 or $300 a square foot. I know what they bid. And they're more. And then somebody comes in and says, oh, I'll build a house for $240 a square foot or $210 a square foot. Well, of course they will. Because they're gonna build it like garbage. We can't watch that. We're not gonna watch it. But if there's some type of registration for contractors, to at least come into that office. Wouldn't be how, have to go back and fight with the attorney on getting the permit. It would stop all of that. It just would. There's some type of saying that this person can chew gum, but at least at the same time he can walk. Because it's just, you got some stupid contractors out here, building crap, and they're building crap. And I'm not trying to get us, the registration in no way, shape, or form would say that we're recommending this person that they're okay, but at least we might know that they have some type, they're not idiots out there building somebody's home that's gonna fall in them 10 years.
What are the registration requirements?
You come in registration, maybe they pay $50 or they don't pay anything, I don't care. But I'm just, some way we need to know that that contractor comes in here and they just can't come here, hide out there in the middle of nowhere because nobody knows they're there, building somebody's house and we don't even know they're there. I'm just trying to put a hiatus to that because it's getting out, it's gonna get more rampant. Because I counted the other day, I think there's 15 new contractors, so building contractors here. There's probably more than that, new people. Oakley shut down, and probably his guys are out calling themselves subcontractors and builders and everything. And some are pretty good, some are wrong. But it's worrisome because we're just unleashing, you've got people that, even the septic people, you know, the older lady that paid $35,000 for a septic tank. And they took off with her money, she paid it up front. Shame, shame, shame. But people are taking advantage of people. And like I said, we'll never have building codes here. But there's gotta be something to help the residents coming into this county. Something.
We had put up a sign at the entrance to the county, buyer beware.
Call there. Yeah, good everybody. I'm just, I don't know, can we discuss it at the workshop, or is it even worth discussing? Because, I mean, it's just, I mean, now she's having to go back to a house that's built, trying to get it permitted, the guy's telling her, what he's telling her. And that's sad.
But the permit doesn't come with an inspection, so there's nothing to make sure that the.
No, but we're not, expecting. I'm looking at the contractor.
So if we register a contractor, that makes him a better contractor?
You know, making a better not registering, he's at least taking some type of test.
Well, so now you
Well, yeah.
now you got to an exam.
Yeah, exam. Well, that's a different, but that's what we talked about, that I was talking in reference to Dorothy. And, I mean, it's getting, it will get out of hand because some of these people, what they're building is just not good buildings. And you go into the office right now, the P&Z office, and there's people's cars all there. Are we telling the people that those are okay to be able to use those cars? I don't want to get into that, the builders.
There's cards in your office for builders?
Well, yeah, I go in that office and I don't know if that builder's good or not, but because it's cards in that office, I'm telling the people, pick up that card because there are cards in this office, he must be okay. Assumption will kill you. And people do it all the time. I mean, I just, there's gotta be a way to help curb some of this. We're not gonna stop it. We're gonna help curb it. And that's all I'm trying to present. I don't know if we discussed that in the workshop, or if it's just a discussion we don't wanna have. But it's getting worse. Getting worse. And if people know there's no building codes here, and honestly, you got a lot of people come from Ohio and some of these other places, there is no building codes out there, and they come here. They don't have to have a permit, well, that's what they believe, because they have to have a permit in Ohio. That was the issue we had with the lumber yard out there, remember? He didn't have to have a permit where he came from, while we had one here.
Okay. I got a question for Delana and Kit. When they put in the contractors for the septic systems, was that done strictly through the office?
Yeah, they have to take a test through us. And then if they pass the test, then there's Custer County certified.
Okay, but was that a resolution by the commissioners that they had to take the test in order to be?
I have no idea.
I bet it's not, but it's state, because they have to be state certified.
It's not state.
It's not.
So
There's no state certification.
you can be state certified, but a counties have their own regulations. Well, actually, it is voted that way. I didn't know. The counties can be more stringent than the state. We can adopt our own on-site wastewater treatment rules, which we do have our own rules. And our own OUS regulation states that the county has to be a Custer County certified installer. So we don't accept their state license. They have to be licensed through us. And then when we adopt those county regulations, it has to go in front of the Board of Health. And then they approve those regulations and vote on them. So it is voting.
Where's that listed? Where's it stated?
It's in the county regulation, the county OUS regulation.
And is that on the website?
We have nothing on our website right now. Our website's closed.
It used to be on the website?
Yes, it did.
Okay, so it shows who approved it, the dates and all of that.
No.
I'm just having.
Yeah, I would recommend.
You need who, what? Their license?
No, just,
The regulation in the book.
Well, it would be the book. The
it'd be
book,
like this,
it looks just like that.
so that it has approvals and dates on it.
The book is on there with an approval from the Board of Health.
Okay. That was my question.
It's a separate entity for it.
Yeah, it's
And the Board of Health is the.
commissioners.
So the per test, then we should say, license to the state.
The per tests are, they're licensed through NFLAC through the state. And they have to give us their state license for that. We don't, there's no way we could license soil analysis.
You did have a question for me too, same thing, right? Yeah. Is it okay for alternates to make a comment here?
No.
Oh.
I'm concerned with consistency and approval. And one of the main reasons that the gentleman in Dark Horse Lane was denied was because it was one way in, one way out, a dead end road. The other one that we approved is a dead end road also, and the dead ends are at the property we're talking about. And there is no cul-de-sac because nothing was planted there. So you actually have to pull up to the gate and do a 3-point turn and turn around. There's no cul-de-sac there. So that's a dead end road as well. And that wasn't mentioned by any of the people who made the motions, so. It wasn't any consistency.
Bob says do the same thing, being consistent.
Yeah, and that's within, I mean, consistency over the years and from meeting to meeting, we were inconsistent in the same meeting. So if that gentleman would have looked at the map, he would have had a pretty good complaint.
Yeah. So I guess, because I mean, I thought the same thing when we came to that one, right? And then you realize that maybe you should have explained a whole lot further on the first one, right?
Right.
So for me, it was, you got 4 neighbors, we have been consistent with listening to neighbors. And, you know, we had 4 people would sign a letter that didn't like it. But the way that road come in and died dead end and out of cul-de-sac, right? Versus that one up there where it is a downhill one, I mean, that road is long weeds and you can see clear to the bottom of the valley. Versus that one up there where you're stuck back in there and she starts trying to wind you out of there. And you were at a cul-de-sac where you couldn't go another way.
Right.
Where, and I didn't.
I know that is, that was out there is kind of. I think the county maintenance ends about 3/4 of a mile.
Well, I could see that as someone that had any knowledge.
Yeah, I think that's just more than
It's a bit part. So if I only had one direction to go and I was in either one of the places and I didn't know this country,
That's a whole heck of a lot easier for me to get out of there, it's, it's just like, I don't understand how people get lost, find water, go down. I don't get it. But we would wind up with people out there, and we're gonna fight for life. And
I mean, if you can't go back down that road, take off for the neighbors,
Yeah,
across the field
yeah.
and get back out there.
Or that one there.
And cut all the fences as you go.
Yeah.
Come on, let everybody's.
I mean, I can get out of any of these places because I know where the water roads are and
Yeah.
line roads and all that, but that's me.
Right.
I'm somebody who's come over the weekend to stay there. And I came in once because I came in to go there. Now I'm going out and it's dark and there's a fire. And there's there's 7 driveways between your place and where the county maintenance ends. Turn on any one of those and you've got a dead end. And, the road dead ends up there at the forest. So,
I understand what you're saying. I mean, I think they're two separate when you look at dead ends, and that's.
Yeah, but everybody said, it's a dead end road, one way in, one way out. They're both like, yeah, I agree. Well, I mean, everybody who voted against it,
Right.
that was the reason that they
Well,
voted against
So
it.
that wasn't the only, but you all had that least here. So they took that from me, but yeah.
We did that too on another one right up here, and for the same reason. And it was narrower, like if you were in fire, it'd be a pickle, because you're coming out, and we voted, and then commissioners overrode that.
No, there's a animal right this one.
That brings up another question then. How much do we care about actual fire mitigation around the house itself? Because that one
I
up
think we
there,
gotta be really careful.
that one up there
Yeah,
has
I think we gotta
limbs.
be really careful. in
Touching
telling
the
people
deck.
what kind of fire mitigation they gotta do.
Right.
You step on my place, you start telling me what to do, and I'm gonna throw you off the county road, right? Because there's a certain point in time
I agree.
where
I agree.
our noses ain't in their business.
And that's fine when you're talking about your own place, but when you're gonna rent it out to other people
Yeah.
who come from another place. This is what Daryl's talking about, an expectation of safety. That, well, I guess somebody's already talked about that, so I'm safe here in this house. That house up there had limbs touching the deck.
The one up,
Seconds
one
to
up,
the deck.
179.
Yeah, I mean, there's.
See, I didn't know that. I didn't want to say that.
Well, and I did, but that's not something that we have in our rig that you have to mitigate back a certain distance. If the fire department came up there, or the state forester, or the federal forester came up there, the rules in wildland interface are 30 feet from the building for your troops.
Well,
They have
so-
strong kids.
And what's gonna catch that? It's
So I
one thing
have
that's
to look at it
gonna.
on the side.
We start looking at everybody who's gonna rent, come in on these things, like they're the stupid. They're 9 times out of 10, I bet they're smarter than people who maybe own,
I hope so.
right? So we keep trying to put a bubble wrap. And we talk about it. If we're gonna put bubble wrap around, so let's talk about something that's really gonna affect a pile of this valley. And we need to shut down everything going up into that forest. Okay, you wanna talk about stupid, that's where you're gonna find stupid, because they have no rules to even start to abide by, right? If we start a forest fire up there, and I guarantee you what, irrigation in this valley is over for 10 years.
Well, they don't have rules. Have you gone to Lee Creek Campground?
We'll see that.
4x8 sign. There, no, it's mentioned 25 times on that sign.
Yeah.
Hope fire.
Oh, yeah.
Which
You do the same thing.
they're all posted.
When you get people that are paying, if these rentals were $50 a night, right? Then, I mean, I kind of see, so, but when you've got people spending really good money, right? And we keep trying to put the bubble wrap. And I don't think that's our spot. I don't think that's our spot.
That's why I didn't mention anything about the fire. How far do you go when we go around? I mean, there's a pond up there that I know is illegal also. But I mean,
Yeah,
these
so
things,
if you want to go trickling into the district, maybe the district doesn't know.
but you see, that's what I'm saying.
Satellite.
What do we look for up there? Or, I mean, we look at just the resolution. And that's all I thought about with this.
Yeah.
And does the resolution say that you can't have an STR on a dead end road?
It does not.
It doesn't.
No.
But that was the reason that we denied that.
No, you got a point.
I mean,
Well,
you gotta,
there's
the one
four,
thing that I think we've been consistent over reasons as well, the SPRs, is we have discussed and made decisions on escape. You know, not necessarily on whether or not you can start a fire. Trying out loud, it's so dry out there right now. You take the safest guy with a chainsaw and burn down half the country.
But we need to think about the condition of the road and whether it's a public road and things like that too. Yeah, there's.
I agree. I didn't want to get into it because I wasn't on site tour, but the pond, how big is it? How deep is it?
Why, I didn't wade out into it, Bill, I don't know. But it's
Well,
probably about
Okay, yeah.
500.
At some point, though,
some kid's gonna drown in.
well, but
There's some kids.
that's,
Okay.
I mean, we can't prevent everything from happening. So they're gonna
That's
have
what
to,
I'm trying to, see, this is the first site where I've been on, I'm looking at it. And I, you know,
I mean, as far as,
if
you
we're gonna
know,
adjust what's in this book, then I'm, you know, that's why I didn't say.
as far as this defensible space, you know, and items on the property that they could be liable for. That's up to the insurance company that they've
Yeah.
got insurance with, not us.
We start taking wood away because it's right there built up, because they might build a fire, and they're in the forest. Shit.
We didn't say to take the fire
but on
away.
the first SDR,
It was the old.
Hold a second, don't forget the neighbors have a big say so. On whether this guy lived across, he lived right across there. I promise you, if those people went out there and there's somebody, an STR sitting there smoking, he's about to come across that road. Now we got a fight that we're gonna cause with the sheriff.
This neighbor smokes. I mean, yeah, really.
If the neighbors that I made the big decision on that.
I mean, does he, when he sells his house, does he have to tell the people that buy it, don't, my neighbor smokes?
Or don't smoke.
And he also sits on the porch and drinks.
Okay, is there any other old business?
I moved to adjourn.
I'll second it.